This is Gary Atencio with CNTV, and today we're in Illinois. I am here with Klimson Logistics Solutions. Since 2020, this freight company has provided industry-leading customer service with nationwide coverage. I am joined here with the founder and owner, Sean Klimson. Thanks so much for joining us here today.
Pleasure to be here. Thank you for having me.
I'm going to start off a little bit about yourself. You're formally educated as a graduate from Robert Morris University with a master's in business administration. After working in the insurance industry, you ventured into the logistics sector. There, you discovered your passion for transportation management. And bravely enough, during COVID, you launched your company. Share with me a little bit how KLS began.
Yeah, absolutely. So as you had mentioned, I graduated with my MBA. I was 20 years old, did not have any experience in the workforce, was having a tough time finding a job. Farmers Insurance had brought me on as an insurance agent. It did that for 10 months, and it was a 5-year commitment at that point. And truth be told, I was just kind of burnt out. I was working about 70 hours a week as, a 20, 21-year old. As you know, having someone of that age come into your house and try and sell you on life insurance isn't the easiest job. And so I had to make a 5-year commitment. I was kind of burnt out and realized if I went down that road, that was going to be my career, and I wasn't ready to make that jump. So I walked away from that after about a year. We were playing nationals in South Dakota for softball. One of the guys there ran a logistics company and told me if you can sell insurance, you can sell freight. Started there the following Monday and worked as a sales rep there for 7 years. And in the back of my mind, I kind of always knew that there was kind of a different way that I would do things if given the opportunity to, but some different life events came up that kind of never gave me that opportunity to make that jump. And then finally in 2020, I was ready and in the midst of a pandemic, took that leap. And here we are, we're coming up on our 4-year anniversary at the end of this month on the 28th.
Wow. And as you say, opportunity arose in a year of 2020. I mean, back in 2020, we all learned what essential workers were. Those who keep our country operating. The transporting of goods by truck began back in the 1930s. Are these modes of transporting maybe even more vital today, would you say?
Absolutely, I think so. One of the coolest things that we do is I am now getting introduced to brands that we see on the shelves at stores. And knowing that we have a part in their supply chain to help get their products into consumers' hands, it just is such a cool feeling. I can take my niece and nephew and point something out on the shelf and say, like, oh, you like that product, or they'll recognize it because we've gotten samples sent to us. So it's really cool that, it's funny, prior to getting into logistics, I had no clue what it was, no idea, didn't think it was, an actual career. And here I am, almost 11 years later, 4 years, as the CEO and founder. And there's not a lot of other things I can envision myself doing, just the amount of people and companies you can touch and then all the connections you're able to make. It's really special, and I'm very grateful for the opportunity we get to service our clients on a daily basis.
Great fit for you. I mean, over 11 billion tons of freight is transported by trucks in any given year. I mean, is it safe to say if consumers bought it, a truck brought it? I mean, is that safe
Yeah.
to say?
Yeah, that's very well said. Very rarely is it not going to move, whether it's via truck or rail. We all touch it. Ocean if it's coming from overseas. So there's many different forms within our industry, but you're absolutely right. Unless you're, you know, uh, e-shipping it with, like Amazon, that type where it's kind of moving small pack. But even then, they're still kind of using it. So there's in some form or capacity, you're absolutely right. It's on an 18 wheeler and it's moving cross country to get from, the warehouse into the consumer's hands.
Excellent. I mean, your goal is to make every shipment as smooth as possible. How important is communication when it comes to customer service?
It's the one thing that sets us apart from, the competition. And we're in an industry that is very saturated. There's not a lot of barriers to entry. So, especially as we mentioned how important it was for our industry during COVID and kind of coming out of COVID to really get the economy back on, pace for what it was previously. So a lot of people flooded the market because they saw an opportunity to kind of make a quick buck. Well, now what you're seeing is those companies are falling off the wayside because they weren't developing relationships and they were kind of just chasing the next dollar. And all of a sudden, when things kind of go back to normal, you don't have those relationships built. So we tried to establish that via our service. And when I started this company about a year in to my, career as a salesperson, I treated every shipment as if it were my own. So if I went to a company and had something shipped, this is the level of service I expected, and we implement that on every shipment. So we've got customers that ship with us, 2 times a year. They come for something seasonal. We've got customers that ship with us 20 times a day. Every single shipment, we have a built-in process where it's handled in the exact same manner. And the reason we do that is because that way we can't skip any steps, we can't miss anything. We're making sure we're crossing our T's and dotting our I's and giving the best level of service. That's what we strive for. We don't always hit it. Nobody can be perfect, but that's our goal here at KLS.
So those fly-by-night companies that are not in it for the long haul, no pun intended, they should fall by the wayside. I mean, for a stress-free experience, you strive for efficiency. From the quote to dispatching the trucks, every leg along the way, is efficiency really a daily focus for you?
Yeah, absolutely. And it's funny because, there's only one of me, and so we'll have a stretch where nothing comes in for 10 minutes and all of a sudden 50 things come in, and you want to try and, piece it together and multitask, but what we strive for is all response times in 5 to 10 minutes. And I can just tell you from speaking with our clients or speaking with prospects, that's not the industry norm. A lot of times those delays are much longer. But when we bring on someone new, a new client, they see initially how we service them. And it's just such a big thing because, like you mentioned, in this industry, time is money, so a lot of these clients, the logistics is kind of the piece that nobody thinks about. So they're bidding out work and then they don't think about the logistics. And sometimes that can be make or break, for obtaining a bid. So if we can get a quote back in 5 or 10 minutes, they can get that to their customer, hopefully get approval, and before you know it, it's rocking and rolling. So yeah, whether it's a quote, a shipment, tracking, customer service, you name it, we try to have that response back to you right away. And kind of what we try to sell ourselves as is peace of mind. When you send something to us, it's hands off. You don't have to worry about it. You know that KLS is going to handle it every step of the way. We're going to be very transparent, communicate, hey, this has been picked up. Hey, there's a delay because of, back when there was COVID and terminals were shut down, or now, if there's weather, the bridge just fell in Baltimore, for example. So little things like that. We're tracking every shipment, every step along the way to make sure that we want you to feel that you don't have to worry about anything. We know exactly where your freight is, what's happening, and we relay that to you all the way until it's been delivered.
Hard to put a price on peace of mind, yet like in every business, time is money, and even more so in your industry. I mean, you have customer service tracking throughout. Even after the operation site is completed, is follow-up tracking, cross-checking included to ensure the client is well informed all throughout.
Yeah, absolutely. And like we said, that starts from the moment they ask us to book a shipment. And then once we email them, it delivers, which we do on every single shipment. We've got a report in our system where every shipment that's scheduled to go out for today will track until it goes out. If for some reason it doesn't, we'll notify the customer. But once it delivers, our job is not done. Then the next step is the billing and invoicing. So the carriers will send us an invoice. We then are cross-checking to make sure that the quote we gave the customer matches up what the carrier gave. If there's any sort of difference, we're immediately going to our customer and notifying them. A lot of brokers in our industry will just throw that onto the bill and send it out, and the customer is unaware of it. And it's not their job to try and decipher through an invoice as to why something doesn't match up what they were originally quoted. So again, that goes back to our transparency, and the relationships we're trying to build. We don't want to try and pull a fast one. We're not here to nickel and dime our clients. Our clients are who we're representing and fighting for. So if there's any discrepancy, we're first going to go to them, see if there's a way we can dispute it to get that back. And if we can't, they're aware and we kind of pass that on. But again, it goes back to just our integrity of the way that we want to represent our clients to make sure that they feel that they're part of this, that they're just not a number.
So that efficiency expands all the way out into the accounting department. No surprises. They can see everything right there. Speaking of seeing everything, what is the system access for those who are more comfortable maybe creating and monitoring their shipments?
Yeah, absolutely. So we do have some clients where they will log in on their own and then they can kind of go at their own speed. So They go in, they put in all the information they would normally send over via email or phone. They get the quotes right there in the system. They can electronically dispatch it to the carriers. It'll populate a bill of lading. So basically, they're kind of phasing us out to a degree. They're utilizing, our software, our rates, but they're the ones who are kind of handling the operations. Then we'll still continue to track it. It still funnels into our system. So every step of the way, we're still giving those updates. But again, that gives them more access and more freedom that they can do it kind of at their speed, at their tempo.
So for those few clients who wants a little more access, you have that as well if needed. I mean, your
Yep.
team takes every precaution to ensure there are no mistakes that could ultimately delay a shipment. Do you complete each shipment with that final stamp, proof of delivery?
Yeah, absolutely. So, like I said, we're tracking every step of the way. Once it delivers, for example, I just had a couple of my emails pulled up here, so I see them trickling in. But our team, our operations team will send an email and say, "Hey, this is delivered." And it goes back to that peace of mind because some of these shipments, are going from Florida to California. We shipped them, a week or two ago, and in our industry, the wheels are just always moving, so you might forget about something. So that's where we come back in and say, "Hey, we didn't forget about you. We didn't forget about the shipment. It delivered. Here's that proof of delivery from the carrier and the receiver, both signing off on it, saying it was received. Here's who signed for it. And again, it's just that peace of mind that we're providing on every single shipment.
Wow. Transparency, efficiency, consistency, extending out all the way out into the billing and invoicing, no surprise for anyone. I mean, you have many modes of transportation. Before I let you go today, share with us kind of an overview of the few of the types. And we're talking everything from flatbed to intermodal and in between. Share with me.
Yeah, absolutely. So the beauty is everything we do is nationwide. So for starters, any of the modes, you can find it on our website. You can reach out to us. We'll talk more in detail. But the ones that we focus on, there's two main ones. So it's LTL, which is considered less than truckload. That's basically anything 8 pallets or less. So essentially, what we're doing is you're buying space on the truck and you're sharing it with other people. So for example, we're picking up 4 pallets from you, 6 pallets from me. That's 10 pallets on the truck. We're each paying for the space on the truck. For LTL, we also do dry and refrigerated. Refrigerated is very important, especially as we enter into the warm months here. So we've got a lot of CPG, which is consumer goods products, so food, things of that nature. They have to stay at a certain temperature so that the certain ingredients, whether it's chocolate, caramel, whatever it is, it can't be melting, before it gets to the shelves. So we offer that nationwide, and then also full truckload, which is we're purchasing that entire 53-foot truck. So you can fit up to 26 or 30 standard pallets on there. So some of our bigger accounts where they're moving bulk inventory from a warehouse to somewhere, we're doing that, and that's also dry and refrigerated as well.
When a consumer reaches for that candy bar off the shelf, we don't even think about what it has to do to get it there. We have no
Mm-hmm.
idea that there's hot trucks that had to come through, hot weather, and you had to keep that chocolate cool. That's very interesting. Sean, you boast an impressive 91% successful carrier dispute percentage by providing tailored services, whether it's a one time shipment or a continued partnership. Is this rewarding work for you?
It really is, yeah. And that 91% goes back to where we talked about kind of that last step with the accounting. We're going in and checking the variances. But in terms of your rewarding question, one of the greatest aspects that we've created here is our Together Talks campaign. And it really was kind of accidental how we came about it. We thought initially it was going to be additional sales arm. We would reach out, interview a company kind of similar to this. Ours is in written format versus video, and then we were hoping that, they move some freight, maybe there'd be some synergy, we could work together. After about, our third or fourth interview, I realized it could just be so much bigger. There was some real opportunity here to kind of create a community. And we just last week released our 120th feature. So we've been doing it for over a year now. We do two every week. And we've met some incredible companies, some incredible founders and individuals, and we're sharing their story. And what's unique and special about it is we don't charge for it. There's no fee. It's time out of our day. It's energy out of our day. But we're creating this networking community where, now because we've done so many of them, somebody might be so far along in their journey and they ask a question. I'm like, hey, I just spoke with somebody a couple months ago. They did that. Let me connect you. And people are just happy to help, which is, it's a really beautiful and special thing. And As far as I know, there's nobody within the industry that's doing anything along those lines like us. And our motto is we do logistics different. I think that's a really great way to encapsulate what we're doing to go above and beyond to show that we care. And at the end of it, our services are something that might help a company. We're more than happy to provide those, but our goal is just to meet people, connect people, and kind of share stories, kind of in this same vein. You know what I mean? You're giving us an opportunity to share our story. We're
Yep.
incredibly grateful for that, and we're hoping to continue to do that with people. And be on the lookout. 2025, we're going to convert it to a podcast, so we're going to try and reach even more, people that way.
That is excellent. I mean, really, when I started this company, it was all about really introducing the entrepreneurs out there,
Yeah.
introducing the small businesses out there that I think are essential, that really are the glue for communities. And like you say, I mean, if you create that community, the clients will come, and if they don't come, everyone benefits already to begin with, which is great. Viewers, let's take a look at the bottom of the screen right there. What you're going to see is their website. On the website, you can learn more about all the modes of transportation they offer. I mean, if you have questions about sales, service, or operations, reach out to them today. Their mission at KLS is really simple: to be the best at customer service for every shipment and treating it pretty much like it's their own. Once again, that is Klimson Logistics Solutions. We do logistics different. This is Gary Atencio with CNTV. And if you don't know, now you know.